Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're looking at a pretty unusual piece.
Yeah. What have we got?
Well, you sent over this article from the Era of Light website. It's dated April 21st, 2025.
Okay. Recent then. What's the title?
It's called A Message to the Starseeds of the New Earth, the New Jerusalem, the QFS, and the Age of Abundance. Quite a mouthful.
Wow. Okay. Starseeds, New Jerusalem, QFS.
Yeah.
Lots to unpack there.
Exactly. So our goal today is to really try and understand the main ideas here. It talks about a big planetary transition, this new financial system, the QFS, and this future age of abundance.
Sounds ambitious. Where does it start? Does it jump right into the finance stuff?
Not quite. It actually kicks off with something called the New Jerusalem.
The New Jerusalem, like the city.
Well, the article describes it differently. It says it's an eternal mothership hovering somewhere before Venus.
A mothership. Okay, so less biblical, more celestial.
Seems like it. It's presented as this divine symbol of protection and hope, a connection to the sacred, pointing towards a bright future for humanity.
Interesting way to frame things. It sets a very cosmic stage, doesn't it? Connecting something up there with what's happening down here.
It really does. It sort of suggests earthly events are part of a much bigger picture.
Which I suppose connects to many spiritual traditions, this idea of guidance or a plan from beyond.
Right. And then it transitions. It moves from the celestial symbol to something much more, well, grounded, though, still pretty out there. The quantum financial system, or QFS.
Ah, the QFS. Heard that term floating around in certain circles. What does this article say to us?
It's positioned as a total game changer. A pillar of a new era built on, get this, justice, transparency, and universal abundance.
Universal abundance. That's a bold claim for a financial system.
Isn't it? The stated purpose is basically to liberate humanity from economic control, set the stage for a peaceful and prosperous galactic civilization.
It's galactic. Okay, so the scope just keeps expanding.
Yeah.
From Earth finance to galactic civilizations. How does it supposedly achieve this liberation and abundance?
Well, that's where it gets into the mechanics. A key point is currencies. The QFS will apparently only accept currencies backed by gold or other specific assets.
Gold-backed, right? That's an old idea making a comeback in these narratives. How do they verify it?
Good question. It mentions digital certificates to prove the real value. And this is interesting, advanced satellite technologies.
Satellites. For what?
To protect the gold and assets. Ensure they're safe from fraud or theft. It's like a high-tech global vault security system.
Huh. So marrying old concepts like gold standard with futuristic tech like satellites and digital certificates, trying to guarantee transparency, I guess?
Exactly. That seems to be the goal. A fair value based on real wealth.
Okay. What else? You mentioned abundance. How does that factor in?
Right. It talks about something called the global trust, described as this huge accumulation of wealth.
A trust. Managed by whom?
Get this, light forces, that's the term used. These forces are now supervising this wealth.
Light forces.
Okay.
So, a spiritual or perhaps extraterrestrial element managing global wealth.
Seems to be the implication. And the idea is this wealth gets distributed equally through the QFS, provides abundance for everyone.
Equally. How? And how do they ensure only good money goes in?
It mentions a reconciliation procedure to make sure only clean, legal funds get transferred into this new system.
A reconciliation. So a kind of financial cleanse before the distribution. That raises a lot of questions about who decides what's clean.
It definitely does. And linked to this is another concept, the Global Currency Realignment, or GCR.
GCR, right. Heard that one too. What's the connection here?
The idea is to make all world currencies equal in value. Because they're all gold-backed under the QFS, they'll supposedly reach parity.
Equal value globally. How would that even work? Different economies, populations?
Apparently, there's a complex formula. It considers economic factors, demographic ones, even environmental parameters for each country.
Environmental factors in currency valuation. That's novel.
Yeah. The stated goal is unprecedented equity among nations. But there's a catch.
Always a catch. What is it?
Countries have to comply with GSARA standards to participate.
GSARA. What exactly are those standards? Does the article say?
It doesn't really detail them, just mentions compliance is necessary. It's likely a term specific to this framework or belief system.
So a realignment based on gold, a complex formula, aiming for equity, but requiring adherence to unspecified GSARA rules. Okay. What powers this QFS system itself?
The tech. This is where it gets really high-tech. It supposedly runs on quantum computing.
Quantum computing, not just regular servers.
Nope. Quantum, capable of calculations millions of times faster, operating in the realm of infinite possibility, as the article puts it.
Wow. Quantum computing for finance. I mean, the potential processing power is huge theoretically, could handle massive complexity.
And that's not all. There's artificial intelligence involved too.
AI. Who's AI?
This is another interesting bit. It's described as a gift from the Pleiadians.
The Pleiadians, as in extraterrestrials.
That's the claim. And this AI is supposedly benevolent, operating for the good of humanity, supporting the QFS with perfect management and calculations.
So, extraterrestrial AI managing the global financial system, that's quite a leap.
It certainly adds another layer. It paints a picture of significant external assistance, doesn't it?
It really does. Any other tech mentioned?
Yes, 5G, the global network. It's presented as crucial for the QFS for high-speed data transfer.
Okay, 5G makes sense for data transfer speed, but I bet there's a twist.
You guessed it. Also described as donated by benevolent galactic forces, a milestone in communication given to us.
So the quantum computing, the AI, the 5G network,
Yeah.
all potentially linked to these off-world light forces or benevolent galactic beings.
That seems to be the underlying narrative woven through the technological aspects.
But it's not just external tech, is it? Doesn't the title mention Starseeds? Does it connect to us?
Yes, absolutely. The article says our own cosmic consciousness and DNA are essential tools. We need them to operate the QFS and participate in this new galactic civilization.
Our consciousness and DNA interacting with the financial system. How?
It doesn't specify the mechanism, but it highlights this interaction between the advanced tech and human consciousness as like the pinnacle of our planetary evolution. We're not just users, we're integral parts of it on a fundamental level.
So our inner state affects or interacts with this outer system. That's a very different way of thinking about finance and technology.
Completely. And this whole QFS setup, it's not the end goal, apparently.
Oh, what comes after?
It's part of a bigger plan leading up to the great cosmic solar flash.
A solar flash, like a solar flare.
Seems like something much bigger. This event is supposed to transition Earth into the fifth dimension, 5D.
Fifth dimension, okay? And how does that relate back to the QFS and money?
Well, during this shift, physical currencies get phased out. They're replaced by an etheric system.
Etheric system, what does that mean?
It's based on individual and collective vibration. Your abundance, your wealth, becomes directly related to your state of consciousness. Harmony and well-being become the new currency, essentially.
Wow. So money as we know it disappears and is replaced by something tied to consciousness or vibration. That's a fundamental reality shift.
Exactly. It connects the financial system directly to spiritual development and this ascension process.
And this is where the Starseeds come in. The article is addressed to them.
Yes, it
Yeah.
calls them out directly. Dear Starseeds. It says their contribution is essential right now.
Essential for what? For this transition?
Yeah. As the collective awakening accelerates, Starseeds are apparently meant to help others understand these changes, to help build this new civilization based on love, justice, freedom.
So they're seen as guides or helpers in this process. What exactly is a starseed in this context?
Generally, in these kinds of spiritual circles, it refers to souls believed to have originated from other planets or star systems, incarnated here on Earth with a mission to help humanity evolve, especially during times like these.
Right, people who feel a strong connection elsewhere, here to assist.
Pretty much. And the article offers them reassurance, says, the New Jerusalem is guiding them, the forces of light are present. It's very encouraging towards that specific group.
And you mentioned this is on the Era of Light website. Does the other content there fit with this?
It seems to. Looking at other articles around the same time, April 2025, you see titles about intuitive astrology, Archangel Michael, energetic sovereignty, authenticity.
Okay, so it fits into a broader theme of spirituality, personal growth, maybe channeling, and these larger cosmic narratives.
Definitely. It's all part of that same worldview, combining the personal spiritual journey with these big, predicted global and cosmic events.
So for our listeners, the real takeaway here is this very unique blend. You've got hard tech concepts like quantum computing, AI, 5G.
Right, but explained through this lens of galactic gifts and benevolent forces.
Exactly, and then that's mixed with these deeply spiritual or metaphysical ideas. The New Jerusalem mothership, a solar flash, 5D ascension, consciousness is currency.
And all aimed at creating this age of abundance, managed by a system, the QFS, that's supposedly incorruptible and fair, backed by gold and run by advanced AI.
It's a narrative that promises solutions to current problems, economic inequality, corruption through a combination of technological leaps and spiritual evolution.
Absolutely. So, just to recap the core elements we've discussed from this article,
Okay.
we started with the New Jerusalem, that symbolic mothership.
Yep, the symbol of hope and protection.
Then the quantum financial system, the QFS, built on gold backing, digital certificates, satellite security.
And run by quantum computing and
Mm.
that supposedly benevolent Pleiadian AI, all connected via 5G.
Don't forget the global trust managed by light forces and the reconciliation process.
Right, leading to universal abundance.
Then the global currency realignment, the GCR, aiming for equal currency values based on that complex formula and GSUR compliance.
And all of this being a precursor to the great solar flash and the shift to 5D.
Where physical money gives way to an etheric system based on vibration and consciousness.
And finally, that specific call to the Starseeds to help guide humanity through this transition.
It's quite a story, isn't it? A complete package for a transformed future.
It certainly presents a comprehensive, if highly unconventional, vision.
Okay, so here's a final thought for everyone listening to mull over. What if? What if a financial system was governed by AI, this advanced, maybe even quantum computing? Forget the claimed origins for a second.
Just the tech itself.
Yeah. How would we interact with it? And then add back that idea from the article that our consciousness, our own vibration, could somehow interface with it or even become the basis for value in some future etheric system.
It really forces you to think differently about the connection between, I guess, our inner world and the outer systems we build, especially technology.
Right. What's that relationship between technological leaps and spiritual or conscious evolution, according to this perspective? It's definitely something to ponder.